Hello and welcome back to Defenders of Light. In the previous episode we destroyed Strumpf Le Grand, the gigantic smurf. We destroyed him from the inside out and we learned that he was a robot the whole time. Now we're going to go ahead and do a bit of cleanup and collect lights from levels that we've already seen before. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do it a little bit differently, to do it stylistically, to do it to music, and not this music. Here's an example of a place where you can use different characters all in the same area. Right now, since I'm Jules, there's nothing open to me, but I can still walk around and take a look. I can see the area where I was and where I created the bridge as Leo, and there's a path here. This character select spot here is a really good example of a character select spot that you can approach from any side. So it wouldn't matter which side I checked it on, I would access the character select menu. It's a nice little trick in the game. I think it adds to the game rather than takes anything away. If I could have limited the player to having to stand directly on top of it, I would have. But I don't mind the way that it is right now. Clearing out the levels at this point is pretty much just knowing which character to use for which situation and when. And I've pretty much cleared out the entire level for now. Head back to Strangeland, and there's only a few lights that I have to collect from here, but I have to collect them anyway. When this game was first programmed, you would have to get different amounts of light in order to trigger the ending. So you would trigger the first ending by getting, I think it was something like 500 lights, and then 600, 700, and then finally 800 lights. I think that's how it went. But when I went ahead and changed it to the easy version, I unlocked it so that the player could view all of the endings. So what I did was basically force the player to have to collect every single light in the game before they'll be able to go to the final level. And the reason I did that was, you know, even though it was supposed to make the game quote-unquote easier, like it was called the easy version, it's supposed to be easier, but I wanted to force the player to have to collect everything in the game in order to end it nevertheless. So it's easier to get everything in the game. It's easier to get everything in the game at that point in time because you can turn off the battles and you're guided as to how to destroy the bosses for the most part. And clearing out the levels is not so hard to do once you've already gone through them once or twice at least. So I wanted to add a little bit of a challenge, so I made it so that you had to have all the lights in the game in order to end it. Right now I still can't access that flashing special object. There's still a tree in my way. I'll have to come back later. So I'm pretty much done Forest Land now. I won't have to return for a really long time. By the way, the reason why I skipped Rockland is because right now there's really nothing more I can do in Rockland that I haven't already done. Because I learned the Beam Me Up ability in Rockland, so I already had the ability. Right now I'm just visiting levels that I didn't have the Beam Me Up ability previously. This will allow me to collect more lights and open up the level a bit more. Once I've warped over to the other side here, I can open up this flashing special object. And this flashing special object is also connected to this one here. And another one that you can't see. If I go back and get rid of it, it'll create a bridge. Now, no matter which character I return here as, I can cross this bridge, so I don't have to be Jules anymore to warp over here. So checking that special object moved this door and this door out of the way. So now I can pass through those two doors now. I'm pretty much done with this level now. There's just a blue block in my way and another gold chest. I mentioned before that the blue blocks a long time ago used to always be a block no matter whether you had the ability or not, and I went ahead and changed it to the Leo's ability shield so that it would look better, but I had to correct the direction that it was facing every time that he used it, because he does this little spin around. I can't really replicate it, but he does this little spin around before he hits it, so I had to make sure he was always facing the correct direction, and not only that, make sure that the ability symbol itself didn't change to some other ability symbol before you destroyed it, so I had to correct the direction. So I'm done the stage for now. There's nothing more I can do here at the moment. Which means we should have enough now, almost enough. We have to visit Lavaland first. Now that we have Beam Me Up ability, this opens up Lavaland quite a bit. And the only way to access this part of the island in Lavaland is to use the warp pad anyway. There's no other way to get over there. Which gives me some more lights. And finally we get to the bridge. Before we went under this bridge. Now we're going to go over it. And I'm pretty sure that's the furthest that Lasso Whip ever goes as far as distance. So you cross over the bridge and you can see there the underpass that we went through before as Alice with the USS Bodhi ability. And there's a blue block down there. And here's an example of how I could change it up a bit. I could have made it so that Poncho's ability would be used over here and Leo's ability would be used way over here. That would mean that you would have to come here as Jules, change to Leo, create a bridge, and then go over here, and then I guess the blue block would still be there, so you'd still end up being Leo twice in a row anyway. I'm gonna go ahead and end the level. And at this point we should finally have enough to go to Winter Wonderland. And of all the stages that I made, this one was probably the one that I was happiest with. It's of course a snow themed level. Go ahead and enter it now. So the music is supposed to be kind of snowy music. Winter Wonderland. Unfortunately, that text of Winter Wonderland doesn't fit on the map, which is why it says W Wonderland. However, there is enough letters available in the text box because you can pretty much put whatever you want in there. And that's how it can fit Winter Wonderland. And there's a flashing special object down there that we can't do anything with right now. And Ability Dude's house is over there. And there's a gold chest. And the character select spot down there. Aha! It's one of the few levels where I use shadowing a lot. The shadows aren't the best in RPG Maker, but I tried to make them consistent. Everywhere that is supposed to be raised up casts a shadow, so that's supposed to be higher than where I'm at right now. Hence the shadow and the ladder. And those white eggs are supposed to be snowballs on the ground. This is as far as I can go with Leo. Looks like I have to come back here as Alice. Fortunately, there's a character select spot right here. This level is a really good example of how you start off as Leo and then change to Alice. And after this, I'm going to have to change to Keisha. And after Keisha, I'll be Poncho, and then I'll be Jules. It will happen, you'll see. So this would be probably a level that, even though I would like to redesign, I really like the way that it looks right now, so a redesign would basically mean messing it up. So unfortunately, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This door I can't open from down there. That's not to say that I don't want to update it, it's just to say that if I moved things around and abilities around, it would make the level look different. Like, I suppose I could put Leo's bridge down there and Keisha's jump ability where Leo's bridge is right now. That wouldn't mess things up too badly. So now I moved the door out of the way. So now anybody can get here. But things such as Poncho's rope bridge here and Jules' warp ability, if I were to change those, it would mean redesigning the whole level. Because once I go down here, that warp pad over there leads me to a faraway place, so there wouldn't be any way to connect it with Poncho's rope. It would be way too far. So I'm going to go into Ability Dude, and he may or may not be able to teach me this ability now. Poncho, show me 475 lights. I can teach you Monster Mash magic. So this is the only house in the game where Ability Dude teaches you a magic. He teaches it to Poncho because the magic itself is actually very vital to ending the game. It basically kills off one of the bosses. So without the magic, you wouldn't be able to get rid of the boss. But the only reason the boss is there is for you to get rid of. So it really doesn't serve any purpose, unfortunately. And that's why it would be nice to give Poncho a few more abilities. Right now I have 35 lights on every level that I've visited, and that's a good sign, because at this point you want to see that you have 35 lights in every level that you've been to. Eventually that number will change as you progress, but for right now what you want to see is that you have 35 lights on each level. So right now I'm still missing 4 lights. I can move the flashing special object. And I could actually exit the level by going that way, but I won't do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and change to Jules and finish off the boss for this level. I have a few minutes left, so I might have enough time to get rid of him and end this level off. So going over here as Jules basically restricts the player to having to be Jules in order to face this boss here. That saves me a condition for that particular event above me, which is kind of nice, so it saved a bit of memory. But it does make the level kind of linear. This guy's Frostbite the Cold Man. The player, if they didn't know what to do, is faced with these snowmen who chase after me. These different colored egg things. And I discovered that I can destroy a snowman. And there's a snowman in the very middle of the stage here. And if I try to press X on this egg here, the snowman throws the egg at me. I have 1 minute and 30 seconds to beat him. So the objective here is to destroy all the snowmen first. And if you notice, there's a little pause there, and the reason for that is because once the graphic of the snowman disappears, it still has a physical presence on the stage. So what I have to do is I have to actually move the graphic itself into an area on the stage that cannot be accessed by the player, and also that the event can't somehow move back towards the player, because if those events surround the player, then you won't be able to do anything, and that would be pretty sucky. So that leg is basically me moving everything over off the screen. I have 30 seconds left. I'm gonna let the time elapse and go ahead and leave the video at this for now. In the next video we'll pick it up and destroy Frostbite.